Would you like a second opinion?
Hello and welcome to Second Opinion, the show where I dissect my own medic gameplay for the sake of your education and secondhand embarrassment. Now, this is a blatant ripoff of Array 7's Medic Survival Guide, but I feel like enough time has passed for squatters' rights to set in. Today we start trying to attack the first point of Egypt, where the enemy team's pyros are giving my team a world of trouble. I'm about to Uber up with this heavy, but right before I do, their flog pyro comes in and absolutely melts him. But I never fear, because I have a huntsman sniper, I guess, who will get the job done. Luckily, we also have a soldier who I'm able to save from the world's most predictable spy. And with these two heroes in tow, our team ventures forth to take the first point of Egypt. Now, if you're watching, you might be curious about this little Array 7 ripoff. Well, I promise the reason I'm running the bone saw isn't plagiarism, it actually serves a very vital purpose. You see, I have a bit of a problem with the Uber saw, and that's I get baited a lot when I have it equipped. The potential reward of 25% Uber on hit activates the chimp part of my brain and causes me to whip it out when I really don't need to. This has especially become a problem because I play in competitive, where a medic throwing himself at the enemy is generally considered to be a bad idea. Because of this, I have decided to start running the bone saw in casual to break that connection in my brain. You might be wondering, why don't you just use the solemn vow, because that's what most people in competitive use. Well, it turns out that I'm so ape-brained that the solemn vow just decides to bait me in new and unique ways. So because of that, the stock bone saw is my weapon of choice until I learn to stop being an idiot. So anyway, back to Egypt, where I am at full Uber charge and ready to make a push through the classic Egypt spot. It looks like our push is stuffed until our medic runs in, which somehow makes room for the rest of the team. I don't question it and just follow our heavy in, hoping that he just cleans house. Unfortunately, the damage of the enemy team is just too much for him to deal with, and I have to narrowly escape with my life, just barely escaping a Machina headshot. We get another Uber and we try the push again, even bringing along a demo man for the fun this time. But it still isn't enough, and my team just gets shredded by their defense. And to make matters worse, this time I'm not able to escape their Machina sniper. We rebuild and get another Uber, and this time I want to try taking it through a different direction, but our team just doesn't really want to. Sometimes as medic you just need to go with the flow of the team, and so I brave the sniper sightline and get back to the shutter door for our third and final push. I Uber in our heavy and our pyro, and our pyro just runs through and completely melts the enemy team. I try to save our heavy, but I'm just a second too late. But that doesn't matter, because our pyro is still in and destroying the enemy team. John Madden goes down, but unfortunately it's too late, and the damage is already done. Our team is in, and the point is now ours. Starting off next round, I unfortunately have to immediately use my Uber in order to save my other medic, but thankfully it still gets us a little bit of space. As we ascend, I'm effectively pocketing the other medic, so that he can allow our team to push while I rebuild my Uber charge. Things get a little scary as their team pushes into us, but thankfully their demo gave me a roller to use to escape just as I get to 100% Uber. I see that the medic just used, so I decide that it's probably best for me to use into them in order to kill that demo and medic. And I don't know if it's just me, but when I use in specifically to kill someone, I have to make sure that fucker dies. Thankfully, it looks like my team agrees with me. The enemy is down half their team, so the first point is practically ours. We take it and move into lobby. While I'm in lobby, I see a particularly shiny medigun, and while I'm contemplating picking it up just for the drip, I get dropped. I rebuild and use on a pyro through the flank in order to make space and cause chaos. And look, I know I'm not supposed to be using my melee here, but come on. We try another Uber with the express purpose of trying to get rid of that sentry gun. This guy has fortunately watched his Uncle Dane, and knows that the best way to kill a wrangled sentry gun is to kill the engineer. The Uber ends and the pyro goes down, but thankfully all it takes is one crossbow for that sentry to go down. I'm sitting back and rebuilding with the team as we prepare our final push when suddenly a spy starts causing trouble. I give him a whack and start to chase him down, but then remember the entire goddamn reason I have the bone saw equipped. That will be the last time I do anything stupid. Somehow I don't die, and we still have an Uber that we can use to win the game. Our demo does the demo night thing, and I'm too slow to catch up to them, and I end up wasting our Uber, which costs us the round. It's the next round and we're chilling on defense when things start going wrong. I pop an Uber which allows us to keep our position and our momentum. I give my boy John Madden an arrow and think to myself, man, I love how I don't have to worry about sightlines in this game. You bitch. We lose the first point and it also looks like we're about to lose the forward hold, but before we do, I get a nice little bit of revenge. They have players and an Uber charge on us, so they push into our defenseless last point. Our team fights tooth and nail to prevent them from taking the point, and thankfully at the tail end of their push, we get a spawn wave which allows us to win. While I'm respawning, I start thinking about the situation. I just died and their medic didn't, meaning that we're now at Uber disad. My goal for the rest of the match is just to hold ground and prevent the enemy team from pushing in. And finally, I find myself struggling to keep up with the amount of health that my teammates need. This is a textbook example of the quick fix's use case. I start holding the choke with some soldiers and the quick fix immediately starts showing its value. I take a large hit and panic pop to top myself off, not really bothered given how fast the quick fix builds. The main choke looks secured, so I follow heavy into the flank to see what kind of shenanigans we can get up into. It turns out that play goes really well, and I get another Uber just in time to use on the soldier. God, I just can't stop cucking this guy. But don't worry, everyone gets their time in the chair. Back on the flank with the heavy, ready to cause more Stockholm Syndrome. Their team pushes into us, but we have a quick fix charge to use to push them back. It looks like their medic got away. Surely that won't be a problem for us. Here we are defending second, where I'm just kind of ping-ponging between my teammates, mainly staying on the heavy. Pocketing a heavy just brings me back to that feeling I first got as a kid when I first started playing medic. I love healing heavies. I love healing soldiers. You know what? Have an Uber. Alright, pause. An advanced medic tip is that you can pick up dropped mediguns on the ground. This is most commonly used to pick up a medigun that still has some charge on it so you can use it to get a head start on your next charge. If you're mid-charge, you can pick up an empty medigun in order to drop your medigun that has some charge on it so you can pick that medigun back up and get a little head start on your next charge. Given that I've already achieved everything I want from this Uber in the first half, doing this seems like a no-brainer. We're holding on to the last point very well, and I want to give a quick shout out to dispensers. They help pick up slack when I'm not around, and they also serve as a great place for teammates to gather so they can get arrowed. Which today I especially needed. I have another full Uber, so I team up once again with John Madden to run it into the enemy's end zone. Football. Their team pushes in, but we find a way to hold steady. With a full Uber charge, now is the perfect time to do a counter push. As I respawn, I decide to switch to the vaccinator because there's only about 30 seconds left and it's the only medigun that will give me a charge that I can use. With 2 bubbles in the tank, I prepare myself for the inevitable pub push, and nothing happens. I guess that's just another easy win for the best medic main in the entire world. Yeah.